over some creative / mixing tips. So let's get straight into it. Firstly, the way I start a track is I'll start the creative process first. I'll write the melody and I'll get the track sounding really, really good and how I like it from a creative perspective, and then I'll move on to the mixing perspective and start recording my audio and whatnot. One of the tools that I used that was a massive game changer for me was this little thing here, J37 tape emulator by Waves. Sometimes I use the tape, sometimes I don't, and I use a little bit of saturation to thicken up the sound and give it body and make it sound full. It also nullifies peaks in audio, so you can get your master sounding louder, which is absolutely amazing. The next thing that I do and that everyone should do is get rid of harsh frequencies around the 2.5 to 4 kilohertz range. What I'll normally do is I'll solo one band, I'll up it by, I'll take the Q down a little bit so it's a bit narrow. I'll up it by 10 dB or so, and then I'll just drag it around this range to find the harsh frequency that hurts my ears, and then I dip it like I've done with number 5 over here. So let's just listen to it really quickly. So when you drag the threshold down, if it exceeds that threshold, it dips by how much you set it with the range. So I've dropped it 10 dB. Any more and it starts to feel a bit empty. So I think 10 dB is a good place to drop those harsh frequencies. Moving on, sidechain, massively important. I know you guys know this, but automating your sidechain can be very useful, especially when you have a big kick drum like I do here. So let's just listen to it really quickly. I just want to record this just so you can see what's happened. So if I up that a little bit there, you can see that the sidechain has pushed down the first note, so the kick drum can punch through, and then after the sidechain ends, that's when the note can have its time in the sun. This is going to be very helpful when you get to the mastering stage and there's a lot less room to play with, and these two sounds will sit comfortably next to each other because the sidechain is doing its job and lowering the dB of the super saws and giving those elements their own space. Moving on, use the same elements that you already have in your track. So for instance, I have these snares over here that I've used for the build-up. It sound pretty good. And what I've done is I've built a gated snare group here. And that snare that I've just shown you there, if I turn the reverb off, that's the exact same snare that I used for the build-up. And it just gives your track character, and it makes it feel like one whole song. Like one of my pet hates is like hearing a track and it sounds like the latest Vengeance sample pack sort of thing with like 1,000 different snares going on. Like you should really only use 2 and then change them around to make them fit everything else. I feel like that's all all you really need. I'm rambling on a little bit, but at the same time, I feel like it's very important. Also, like you can do like impacts. For instance, like something that you'd use on the drop, instead of going into your samples folder and finding a new one, just make it out of the original one with a really long decay time on the reverb. I'm pretty sure I've done a tutorial on that. But yeah, that's my 5 tips for the day. I'm really enjoying these tips. I'm sure I'll think of more. Follow me for more quick toots, and yeah, subscribe to me. Laters.